Welcome to the Insomnia Project. Sit back, relax, and listen as we have a conversation about the mundane. One thing that we can promise you is that our conversation will be less than fascinating, so that you can feel free to just drift off. Thank you for joining us. We hope you will listen and sleep. We also hope you'll rate us on iTunes. Let us know what you think. Give us a good rating, or you could just fall asleep and not give us a rating at all. I'm your host, Marco Timpano, and joining me today is a dear friend, Ashley Comeau. Welcome to the Insomnia Project.
Thank you. Hi.
Ashley, hi, I should say hello back. It's
hello.
Always nice. We were chatting before, so it's funny because when you're recording a podcast, you have sort of a little conversation prior to going on, and so you have to make this sort of fake welcome when you've already had a conversation with a friend or someone.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to have a phony conversation with someone?
Oh my gosh, all the time. If you've ever worked in customer service,
Of course.
It's not that you're lying,
Right.
but it's not, hi, how are you today? Oh, I've been better. I have to do my taxes or anything like that. But it's more, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
You say, I'm fine.
Of course.
Well, every once in a while, I'll slip in a little bit of reality if I'm feeling cheeky, and the look on people's faces, the color seeps from their face, and they don't know how to deal with realness.
It's so funny you should say that. I was at work today, and I work in a restaurant, sort of as my Joe job, and this woman came in and she said, I would like to have the whatever sandwich. And I said, I'm sorry, we're only serving breakfast right now. We're not serving lunch. And she's like, what did she say? She's like, this is absolutely the worst thing ever. And I said to her, actually, it's not the worst thing ever. It's just a little disappointing. Because I was kind of like, lady, let's be real here, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, what has been the best or the worst Joe job you've ever had? And I should mention for our listeners, a Joe job is just kind of a job that you have
To facilitate your income?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like it could be a job that you have in between work or a job you have just to pay the rent, let's say.
Yeah, your spirit and your heart isn't necessarily in it.
Right.
But your ambition is because you want an income.
Right. I wonder where it gets its name, Joe job. Poor Joe.
Poor Joe.
Yeah.
Poor Joe. Oh, gosh. Okay. Worst Joe job I've ever had. This is a loaded question. I will say this. One of the best Joe jobs I've ever had.
Okay.
I love, there's this Canadian chicken house called Swiss Chalet.
Oh, okay. Of course. I thought you were talking about an actual place that raises chicken.
No. The chicken house named Swiss Chalet. They have Saint Hubert in Quebec or whatever.
Of course.
In English Canada, it's Swiss Chalet.
It's a rotisserie chicken restaurant, and Swiss Chalet happens to be a quintessential sort of
Canadian staple.
Yeah.
The sauce. You get the chicken for the sauce. Like, I could drink that stuff. In fact, I have.
It's funny because I have a dear friend, Michelle Miracle, who I'm going to get on this podcast when she's visiting from LA or when I'm there. And she had heard so much about Swiss Chalet and the sauce that when she was here last, she's like, take me to the Swiss Chalet that you guys talk about. And we took her for American Thanksgiving, which is in November, whereas Canadian Thanksgiving is in October. And we sort of had her Thanksgiving at Swiss Chalet, and she's like, you guys go crazy for this sauce? And I'm like, yeah, we do.
We do. I was nervous to get that job. I was 16 years old, and I was nervous to get it because I didn't want to find out that it was dirty or I couldn't eat there.
Right.
Or something like that. Chicken, you have to be super, super careful.
Of course.
And I no longer work there. It has been almost 2 decades.
Right.
But I'm proud to say that it was one of the cleanest restaurants I've ever worked at. And so to this day...
That makes me happy because I'm a big fan of Swiss Chalet as well. So
You have to be both a big fan and super clean.
Right.
But to this day, I have no problem eating there because I know how, the safety measures they put in place. And so I think that was one of my best Joe jobs, was working at Swiss Chalet. I was also in charge of making the sundaes.
Oh, well.
And what I would do is scoop out the sundaes, and you have to lean into the freezer.
Right.
And so I'd make the sundaes with extra ice cream for everybody. And then I made a little serving for myself.
As you would.
So when I dipped into the freezer, it would be, okay, put it here into the sundae cup for the patrons.
1 scoop for you.
1 scoop for you. 1 scoop for me. Size 12 takes effort.
Hey, I think that's a Julia Childs. I was going to say Julia Roberts, but I think Julia Childs and Julia Roberts subscribe to that rule.
Yes.
So there you go.
Yes.
I'll have to tag Julia Roberts on our podcast and see if she is a subscriber to the one for you, one for me rule. One of the weirdest Joe jobs I've ever had was, this was once again years ago, maybe 2 decades. A friend's mom worked in a mall at like a big department store, say like a Sears or a Macy's, one of those kind of things. And it was around Father's Day, and she desperately needed someone to represent a brand of cologne and spray it on people as they walked into the section. So I was standing there with this bottle of horrid smelling cologne, and I won't say the name because it's still a pretty popular one, but it was horrible. And I would ask before I sprayed it, and I didn't want to mace people, but I was like, would you like a sample of blah 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 cologne? And I did that for 3 days over like the Father's Day weekend, and I would never ever do it again.
Mm-mm. My mother used to work at a makeup counter in a department store, and so she was in charge of giving makeup tips and giving makeovers. And she actually had a male come in and ask for makeup, and this was before kind of
society has changed,
public acceptance. Yeah. And she was so excited to do makeup on a man.
Right.
I'll never forget the story. But she would always come home smelling like she had just drank a quart of any perfume.
Right.
It was beautiful and disgusting at the same time.
It's funny how you can bring the smells of your work home. And in certain jobs it's great, and in other jobs it's not so great. And,
No, whenever I came home smelling like fried calamari, you wish for other things.
Fair enough. I should mention that you are a hot sauce maker.
I am.
And you had given me 2 types of hot sauce ones. So first, before we talk about the hot sauce that you gave me, how did you get into hot sauce?
Making hot sauce with my friend Jason DeRoss. He is a Second City alum like myself, which means that we wrote and perform improv and sketch comedy in Toronto. We talked about our love for spicy foods.
Okay.
And he said, I have this recipe for Trinidadian hot sauce. Do you want to get together and make some? I love
where their story is going.
I said, yes, I'll bring the beers. So we had some beers and started. He went to Chinatown and got an assortment of hot peppers we had never seen before.
Amazing.
I went to the grocery store, did the same thing, and we mixed them.
Oh, so there was no rhyme or reason over the peppers that you used? Oh, wow.
And we named the specific hot sauce based on color or taste, or if we had too much lime or garlic or all that kind of stuff. The best part, I think, was naming them.
What was your favorite sauce to name?
Hot Christmas.
And why did Hot Christmas get its name?
Lots of jalapeno peppers.
Okay, green.
Green. Lots of red Thai chilies.
Red. So there you go. So that's...
green and red.
Oh,
Hot Christmas.
Hot Christmas.
And we had milk on standby.
Okay.
Because when it gets too hot, because, you make mistakes. But,
sure.
And a bag of tortilla
We should
chips.
say that you had the milk because if you consume something that's very spicy, they say that milk or milk products will help cool it down.
Dull it, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why a lot of, if I'm not mistaken, Indian cuisine has yogurt dishes as well because it has a cooling effect.
And cheese in Mexican food.
Oh, there you go. I love both those things.
Too.
So if you were to give advice to someone who's making hot sauce, what would that be?
If you have any kind of open sores on your hands, wear gloves.
See, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting some sort of hot sauce making tip, but that's a really good tip. And don't touch your eyes.
Don't touch your
or
eyes.
any other sensitive body part when you're making anything with hot pepper or hot spice.
Or citrus, too.
Oh, citrus, too.
Lots of lime juice in it.
Ah.
Which ones did I give you?
Oh, you gave me one that was very green, and it was called...
Green Monster.
Green Monster, yes.
After the park, or the sign in Fenway Park.
Yes.
Green Monster, where you hit a home run over.
And then the other one was pale in color, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't red or green. It was a... Oh, I remember liking it a lot, too.
Oh, darn.
I feel like it was named after a person.
A Ninja Turtle?
No, not a Ninja Turtle. I feel like it was like Bill Clinton's Revenge or something like that. I don't know if that was what it was called, but...
I will be making that hot sauce very soon.
There you go. So now, you make hot sauce. How do you judge a good or bad hot sauce? Because for example, there's a very popular hot sauce that everyone knows. I won't mention its name because I really don't like it, and my wife loves it. No, and it's not that one. Ashley just mouthed the words of a hot sauce. My wife loves it, and it's not for me, and so I don't like it. But there's this other one that is some... I love to look at the labels on the bottles of hot sauces because they're always like someone whose eyes are all spinny around.
And steam coming out of their ears.
Or it's like it has an expletive in it, so it's like the blankety blank hot sauce you'll ever have. But there's one with a Mexican maiden on it that is my favorite, and I can't remember the name of it. It's like...
is it Valencia?
No, it's not Valencia. It's like Chulala or something like that. It's not. It sounds like I'm making fun of a Spanish or Mexican person, but I'm not. It has a name like that, and it has a Mexican maiden on it, and it really doesn't look hot. It looks like probably the last one you'd pick up. It's my favorite.
Yeah. Oh yeah. One of my favorites.
It has a little wooden top to it.
I know exactly what you're talking
and
about.
I wish I could remember the name. I had it, but I finished it. I go to my fridge to find it.
I know exactly what you're talking about. There's also one that's a very simple vinegary red vinegar that you can buy at the dollar store for $1.
No.
And it looks like something you'd never want to ingest, but is the most flavorful hot sauce I've ever had.
Have you ever had bomba? Mm-mm. You've never had bomba?
What's bomba?
I'm going to have to get you some bomba. What it is, it's actually from my father's part of Italy. So he is from the southern part of Italy, Calabria, and that's if you look at Italy like a boot, it's the toe. So it's like the from the ankle or from the heel to the toe is that region. And bomba means bomb, and it's a mix of spicy peppers and oil, and so it's roughly cut pepper. It's not like a puree, and you put it onto bread or whatnot, and you eat it sort of like a bruschetta. And there's actually one from my dad's little town in Calabria, and it looks like a little, those dynamite sticks that say Bugs Bunny would light up, or the coyote. It kind of looks like one of those, and it even has a wick to it, or a phony wick. And Trevor Martin, who's been on the show, says he always has that one in his house.
Oh wow!
He's a big consumer of hot sauce. Did you know that? Yeah.
Good to know. So my partner Connor, his parents went.
Taste the Mediterranean at Whole Foods Market with a vibrant selection that captures the flavors of the region. Shop coastal favorites like responsibly farmed whole bronzini and jumbo white shrimp, and pair them with specialty pastas, robust olive oils, and aromatic sauces directly sourced from the Mediterranean. Want a fast and easy dinner? Grab refreshing Greek salads and tortellini from the prepared foods department. Taste the Mediterranean now at Whole Foods Market.
We live in a culture obsessed with dieting, weight loss, and exercise. And that can make eating disorder behaviors easy to miss. But the reality is, eating disorders are serious mental illnesses that take a major toll on your health and your life. But recovery is possible. Eating disorders are more common than you might think. Chances are you know someone who is struggling with one. Or maybe you're struggling yourself. If you're concerned about an eating disorder in yourself or a loved one, I want to introduce you to Equip. Equip is a fully virtual, evidence-based eating disorder treatment program that helps patients achieve lasting recovery at home. Every Equip patient is matched with a multidisciplinary care team that includes a therapist, dietitian, medical provider, and mentors. And you get a personalized treatment plan that's tailored to your unique goals and challenges. Equip treats patients of all ages and all eating disorder diagnoses. It's covered by insurance, and there's no wait list. If you think that you or a loved one could be struggling with an eating disorder, don't wait to get help. Visit equip.health to learn more. That's equip.health.
To tip off this NBA season on FanDuel, you can choose your own rewards, which means you can play your game any way you want.
I get to choose my rewards?
Yep.
Great! Now, excuse me while I lock in.
All customers choose your own reward right now in the FanDuel app. 21 plus and present in select states. 18 plus in Kentucky. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirement, and max wager amount. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
To Israel to visit his brother, who was doing some he took some courses with like museum archival,
cool.
some kind of thing like that, an excavation. And so Connor's brother Owen does this kind of work. It's
Connor's brother's name is Owen, and he's from Owen Sound.
I know.
Okay, so I just need to mention that. We'll get Connor on one day to talk about actually Owen Sound, because it's a beautiful place that I think our listeners would love to know about.
He was actually born in Walkerton, Ontario.
Oh, there you go. We'll talk about that too. We'll talk about those two.
So Connor's parents went to visit Owen in Israel, and they went to Jordan and Petra, and they went to a spice market as well, and they brought home za'atar. Have you ever heard of za'atar?
No. Za'atar?
Za'atar.
I'm going to just write
Z-A-A-T-A-R,
Okay.
I believe.
Sure.
With an apostrophe in there somewhere.
Okay.
It's an aromatic spice that kind of blossoms as you cook it.
Yum.
It's used in kebab, lamb kebab, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so they brought home for us za'atar, which I had never heard of, and this bag of spices called hot Israeli.
Okay, it's actually called hot Israeli.
That's what was on the bag.
Okay.
It wasn't an airport gag gift.
Sure.
It was a bag with a Sharpie that said za'atar and another bag that said hot Israeli.
Okay.
I have never been able to find this spice since, so I use it so sparingly. But it's as if hot sauce was equal parts spicy and floral.
Oh, yum.
Oh my gosh. I put it in all my pasta sauce, all my chili. It's hot Israeli. If any of the listeners know what this is, I would love to know what this is.
So we should mention your Twitter handle so that
yes.
people can follow you, and if they have the answer, they can tweet you the answer.
That would be incredible. My Twitter handle is at Ashley Comeau, ASHLEY COM as in Mary, EAU.
And we'll put it on our podcast notes so people can find it there.
Wonderful. Yeah, hot Israeli.
Is there anything else? I love the fact that you just mentioned you have something that you use sparingly because you don't want to go through it. I have a bunch of those things, and then my wife will turn around and use it all, and I'll be like, you used all the
What are
whatever.
those things? Do you know?
She would be able to list them all off. Like I'm a little bit of a squirrel where I kind of like, I'm going to just keep this for a rainy day. I once had a cupboard full of craisins, she'll tell you. And for people who don't know what craisins are, it's kind of like raisins, but made with cranberries. And for our listeners in Europe who may not be familiar with cranberries, it's a North American fruit that grows in bogs. And
Very
it's
tart.
very tart. So, because I know, the only reason I say that is my family from Italy would ask me, what's cranberries? And now I think they have cranberry juice there, but they would be like, what exactly is it? And there wasn't a word that we could find that was cranberry.
Was the same, yeah. Are there other Italian delicacies that they have that we don't have here in Canada?
Well, it's not a question of that we don't have here. It's that they haven't been discovered yet. So it's one of those things where it's like, all of a sudden it'll be all the rage. So, for example, no one knew what polenta was 10 years ago, and then it became the thing everybody wanted, right? Well, I have been having polenta since I was a little kid because it's a northern Italian dish that my mother happens to be from northern Italy. But I'll notice that these sort of dishes sort of come into fashion, and all of a sudden everyone's having pasta and fagioli, or frico, or like these dishes that so here's the one we were talking about that is not on menus yet, but it's called lupini, and lupini is the lupine bean that has been
wolf lupus.
Yeah, that would be, I guess the bean was named after the wolf kind of thing. And they're just beans that have been soaked in I better not get this wrong. It's a bean that has been soaked in water and oregano and salt, and they're very salty. And what you do is, I think my dad makes them, and I'm not a big fan of them, so I've never really paid attention. And basically you change the water and you let them soak for a time, and then you put them in a little bowl and you eat them like you would, let's say, peanuts while you're watching, or if you have friends over, you put them out. And what you do is you take the bean, and because the bean is in a bit of a
brine,
no, a shell, like you know how a bean will have a casing over it, so not a bean like a
not
pea.
a pea pod, but a skin almost?
A skin. It has the skin. That's exactly what I was going for. And what you do is you kind of break the skin so that you don't eat that part, but the actual center part of the bean goes into your mouth. And it's a very square shaped bean, so it's not like a navy bean when I'm talking about that. It's more like
a corn nut.
No, not quite. It's its own thing. I'll post a picture and you'll see what a lupine bean looks like. But yeah, that's one of the things that I've not seen anywhere in any restaurants, and I'm just waiting for that to happen.
I had, you were mentioning polenta. I grew up not ever having it. About 3 years ago, I had polenta fries.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. They were incredible. And it inspired me to cook polenta of my own.
Right.
I tried it once as a layer for lasagna. So instead of using noodles, I made a polenta lasagna. It was mush-tacular.
Okay. Right.
But then another time I made chicken cacciatore, and instead of potatoes or pasta, I made a Parmesan cheese Dijon polenta.
Okay.
And put the chicken cacciatore over top of that.
Right.
So I'm a huge advocate of polenta.
There you go. See?
Or with honey in the morning.
Polenta and honey?
Try it.
Sure. Hey, listen, stranger combinations, are out there.
What's the strangest thing you've ever eaten?
Well, that's a great question. The strangest thing I've ever eaten. Recently, I had guacamole with grasshoppers on them. Have you ever had that? It's a very Mexican, I want to say it's from Mexico City, I think is where it's from. And when we were in Mexico City, we were like, let's get the guacamole. And it said with grasshoppers, or like the traditional way. I'm like, yeah, let's get it. And they're little dried grasshoppers that are on top and add a kind of
crunch.
They weren't even that crunchy because they were small grasshoppers, not like the grasshoppers we see here. They're kind of like a spice. They were almost like little tiny shrimp that have been dried.
Yeah.
But my wife had an allergy to them, so I had to get some. It's interesting when you have to get medicine in a country where you may or may not speak the language so well, and so I had to get an antihistamine for her with regards to that. So no more grasshopper for her, but I didn't mind them at all. And then, have you ever had corn smut?
No.
I'm going to say this wrong. Today's the episode of Marco can't get any word right, and it's all like Spanish words from Mexico that I'm massacring. So I apologize to anyone who's listening from Mexico or who's of Mexican heritage, who's probably just pulling their hairs out. But there's this corn smut, so it's kind of a fungus that grows on corn that in North America we throw that away. But in Mexico, it's very prized.
Oh, wow.
And so you make things with this colche or something like that. Oh, I'm so sorry. And I know it because every time we're in Mexico, we're like, we got to get it. It's delicious. It's like this really rich and flavorful and deep richness with the corn. It's fantastic.
Do you ever find that the way you eat a certain food or how it is served, not cooked, served, makes it taste better or worse?
Oh, I agree with that 100%.
Like, for me, it's ice cream in a mug. You have got to have ice cream in a mug.
I see.
No bowls. Mugs.
Mugs is... let me ask you this. Mug versus cup.
I mean, I'm a teacup person. Is that a hybrid?
No, like, so when you drink tea, you like it in a teacup, like a fancy teacup, like with a thin handle and a saucer?
In a saucer, I would prefer it that way.
Okay.
However, every morning I drink it out of a mug.
Okay, because it's interesting, because I was thinking about that not too long ago. I was like, when you watch these old British type series or soap operas like Downton Abbey, they're sipping tea from very dainty
Bone china.
Bone china, right? But how much tea can you get in that? I think we're just used to having mug full of liquids.
Give me a big one. Yeah.
Right. But back in the day, you would sip your tea out of a teacup, a fine, beautiful teacup.
And it almost seemed as an accessory to the conversation. It was never about the tea. It was about masking it in this tea ceremony or this tea time so that you could gossip or discuss certain things or who's marrying who.
See, I certainly like my coffee in the right holder. So I like my espresso in an espresso cup, and I don't like it glass. In some parts of Italy, or some people feel that if you drink it out of a glass, it's better than drinking it out of a porcelain. No, I disagree with that. I like it in a porcelain espresso cup. I like my coffee in a coffee cup or mug, and I like my
tea out of a teacup.
Pretty much, yeah.
There's just something about a teacup. It makes me feel delicate.
Sure.
And I've got broad shoulders. I'm not a tiny woman.
Right.
But something about drinking out of a teacup makes me feel fancy, educated, and delicate.
Well, I love the way that sounds. We talk a lot about tea on the Insomnia Project.
Really?
We talk a lot about tea. I think tea is one of those relaxing beverages, and I think we just sort of talk about it. And both myself and Nidhi love tea, so it's just a natural to talk about tea. Do you like your tea steeped long or lightly steeped?
When I'm drinking it for the caffeine, as long as possible.
Really?
Yeah, I need a punch to wake up.
Okay.
I have trouble waking up in the mornings, so I need that caffeine punch. Whereas if I'm drinking it to relax, just a quick, like 1 to 2 minutes, done.
There you go.
And 2 minutes sometimes, it can make it go bitter.
Yeah, because the tannins are released from the tea. I have some beautiful British tea. I'll make you one if you want. This black tea that's like a bullet tea, and it's wonderful. And I steep it lightly because I like to steep my bag a second time, not to save money or be environmental or whatever, but I heard if you steep your bag of black tea, the second time you get more antioxidants than you do the first time. So I'm a big believer in the second steep of your black tea.
That's very smart.
And I don't like my Earl Grey, which we had a whole episode on Earl Grey and the origins and who the Earl Grey was a couple episodes back. And I like my Earl Grey lightly steeped.
Yes, it's a very floral tea. It can be quite overpowering. Have you had Lady Grey?
Of course, we talked about Lady Grey.
Prince of Wales?
We didn't talk about Prince of Wales, but what's in the Prince of Wales? It's a great tea. I do like it.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Or Irish breakfast versus
Love
English
Irish breakfast. Yeah. And there's a difference in citrus there, I believe. Yeah.
I learned, I don't know if this is true or not, but once you add milk to your tea, which happens quite often, it cancels out the antioxidants that are in there.
Really?
So if you're going to drink black tea, or if you're going to drink a fancy drink, add sugar and all that stuff, and know that you're not getting it for healing properties more so than flavor.
And if you're going to find out more about what Ashley Comeau is doing, do you have a website where people can go?
I sure do. It's www.ashleycomeau.com, my full name.
And we'll have it on the podcast notes, so you can definitely take a look at that. Until the next time we're in front of this microphone, Ashley, I want to thank you for being part of the Insomnia Project.
Thank you so much. Let's go have a mug of ice cream.
Oh, we will, with some tea on the side. You've listened to the Insomnia Project. As always, we are produced by Drumcast Productions, and today's episode was recorded in Toronto, Canada.